We have two excellent women who are giving our keynote event on social entrepreneurship. My name is Father Phil Cooke. I'm the director of the Center for Social Entrepreneurship, which just started this September. And we are actually still developing it, and it's been an absolute blast to put this thing together as we try to engage the city and solve issues of poverty and racism and other things through entrepreneurial endeavors, which will make, we hope, we pray, and we trust that God will help us in all this to make a city of Detroit that is more sustainable, financially, socially, and environmentally. Today we have two outstanding women who are social entrepreneurs, both graduates of University of Detroit Mercy. First, we have today Lenora Hardy-Foster, who is currently president and CEO of the Judson Center, a nonprofit human service agency that provides comprehensive services to children and families throughout Southeast Michigan. Lenora has over 3 decades of leadership experience in nonprofit management, primarily at Southwest Solutions, where she was executive director and chaired the executive leadership team. In addition, Lenora is president of the Detroit Chapter of Financial Executives International. We welcome Lenora. Second, today we have Gabriella Santiago-Romero, who works for Warren Evans at Wayne County, focusing on community health and wellness, seniors, personnel, and HR and technology. Gabriella founded the nonprofit organization Livernois SOUP while she was still an undergraduate, and she is also a member of Challenge Detroit. She also worked for the Detroit Lions. And I just found out she just graduated last September, and she's already done last May, sorry. She's already done all these enormous things, which is tremendous. She's in leadership and professional development programs that invites future leaders to live, work, play, give, and lead in the Detroit area for 1 year. Let's welcome Gabriella Santiago-Romero. Social entrepreneurship is a growing field that has really no one definition. It's an evolving field where many people are trying to create sustainable enterprises to make cities more sustainable, more socially welcoming, more communal. So today we have two outstanding women who will help us further define what social entrepreneurship is in the city of Detroit. So we welcome them and welcome them up to the podium.
First, I really want to just say thank you, Father Cooke. That was such an outstanding introduction. I had to think, is he really talking about me? I'm sure Gabby was feeling the same way. But it's always good to come home, because I look at University of Detroit Mercy as my home. This is where I received my undergrad and my graduate degree. And I just have so much respect for everything that's being done here at the university. And whenever I can participate, it is always truly an honor. I want to just for a quick second, just to kind of share with, this is the second day of the second week on my new job as the president and CEO of Judson Center. And I'm going to tell you, it is, I know I'm blessed, I'm truly blessed to be given that opportunity, especially after serving and spending 36 years. And I was only 4, or I think I was under 4 when I started. So that's the key. But I worked for Southwest Solutions for 36 years. And I'm going to tell you, that's where I grew up, and that's where I learned all the things that I know today. And I think I just feel so fortunate to be able to go to the Judson Center and share what I have learned with them, and to be able to take that organization to the next level. When I was asked to be one of the keynote speakers, and I'm just honored to share this with Gabriella, we want to talk about, when you think about social entrepreneurship, it could be from an individual standpoint, as well as it could be from a corporation. What we're doing as far as social entrepreneurs to make our communities better. to be stakeholders, to have a dream or idea and bring it to reality. And I had decided at the time when I was asked to talk about Southwest Solutions, because these are the many things that we have done during my tenure with that organization. And I want to share with you, when you look at this organizational structure, this corporate structure, we started out, opened the doors back in 1972. And to the left, the far left, Southwest Counseling Solutions, that's how we first got started. It was a very small mental health agency. Back in 1972, only providing mental health services, to people that were challenged. And out of that, we continued to grow. And the thing about, even with the business, you can think social entrepreneur, because you want to think about what you're doing today that can continue to benefit the community, and what else can you do that's really going to evolve and expand. And it really takes, you have to have people with that mindset of being an entrepreneur. If not, we could have just said, we're just going to be Southwest Counseling, the mental health organization, and that's all we're going to do, and we're going to do it well. But we had big dreams. We had to see outside what the community needed and what we could do as leaders to enhance the community that we serve. And we looked at other services. And it's not just treating children and families, but what about juvenile justice? What about special needs? And we started growing in all of those areas. But one thing that we have always been a leader as far as thinking about, what does the community, the city of Detroit need as a whole? And we would step out and be a leader in some of the things that we're doing and forming partnerships or other corporations that was going to continue to fulfill that mission and that desire that we had to be corporate entrepreneurs. And what we did, if you look to the far right, we formed a corporation, Southwest Housing Solutions, because when we surveyed the people that live within our community to find out what are some of the needs that they have, what is the community missing, it was housing. And we started thinking, what can we do as an organization that's really going to improve how the quality of life of the people we serve in the community in which they live. And so, I'm not a real estate developer, but the thing about it, when you're an entrepreneur, you got to know exactly what do you need to bring your dream to reality. We had to go out and find the people with the skills and abilities to bring our dream to life. So we looked for the architects. We looked for the housing developers, people who understood that we could bring in. Because when you are an entrepreneur, you got to think about, it's not just having a dream, but how can you bring it together? How can you get the right people to make it happen? That's one of the things that we have been very fortunate at Southwest Solutions, was to go out and handpick the folks who we thought was right, the skills, the knowledge, and also were thinking as though they were entrepreneurs. Because when you think like that, you're always looking at other things that you can do to enhance and grow your business. When we started doing multifamily development, single housing development, commercial development, and we got to the point that we said, we can capitalize off of the skills and knowledge that we have, so let's now do this for others. If there are people on the east side, on the west side of Detroit, and they want to become developers, you don't have to do it yourself, but if you got somebody who knows, then you can bring them in and still fulfill your goal. So we started, let's capitalize, because with social, when you look at the social impact of being an entrepreneur, there has to be a return. You got to be doing it for a reason. And one of the main reasons is we want to make sure that we are improving where we are. We want to make sure that people can see the difference that we're making, but also there has to be a return on that investment. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you're thinking about the bottom line is not that important, bottom line has to be important, because at least you want to make sure you're strong enough that you will, first of all, cover all of your costs. And being an entrepreneur, you want to think about, how can this work for me? How am I going to be able to take care of my family? You can't take care of your family unless you're doing something that's really going to generate a return, on the time and efforts that you're putting into it. So all the things that we've done within the Southwest Housing Solutions. And in the middle is Southwest Economic Solutions. And this is where I really want to spend my time, is with Southwest Economic Solutions, because you see the things that we're doing: home buyer counseling, foreclosure mitigation, Center for Working Families, and a very large program that's workforce development. And that's getting people ready to return back into society, have a job that they can earn money and maybe take care of their family. But the very last one is Prosperous Detroit. And that truly is our entrepreneur business. That's a business that has really, really taken off. But before I talk about Prosperous, I want to go to the top. Southwest Solutions is the holding company, and all of these corporations are wholly owned subsidiaries of. Now, I'm only presenting the nonprofit entities. We probably have 30, 35 for-profit companies, and they would represent all of the multifamily development because not ideally that's how we wanted to structure it because of financing, it had to be done that way. But what we did that was really the beauty of a structure like this is we were able to allow the executive directors of these companies to do what they do best, grow your business, continue to be entrepreneur spirited. And all of the, we might refer to as the backroom services, that's very important to keep the doors open in any business. And being an entrepreneur, we can have the idea that we want to do this. We want to open up a grocery store. But if you don't have the finance department, the accounting skills, the human resources department, the legal, the information technology, if you don't have that backbone in place, it's kind of hard to be successful. Something could fail. So what we were good at is we pulled all of that and we centralized. And we said, okay, you all can do what you do best here, grow your business, and we would take care of everything else that needs to be done. And that really worked out very well for Southwest Solutions, and we kind of refer to it as the Administrative Supports Organization. But Prosperous Detroit, when we took a look at Prosperous Detroit, we were approached by the Kellogg Foundation. And the Kellogg Foundation was aware that there are a lot of people around the city of Detroit in different areas that are entrepreneurs. They have great ideas. There's a lot of things that they want to do. But they need someone to be behind them to help support what their mission, their vision, and what their idea might be. And a lot of that help that they need is, where's the financial resources going to come from? How can I get started? And we work with some people who may not have any money, but they got a big dream. And we work with them to help their dream become reality. This really started back in 2012. And we have trained now, over 300 people have actually gone through the training program of Prosperous Detroit. And as you can see, over 60 minority-owned businesses in the city that we have been able to work with people to help them start up their business. And I'm just going to tell you, most of these have been successful businesses. We've had over here, said this slide is pretty dated. It says 204 graduates, but there has been over 300. We continue to grow, and each quarter we're measuring where we are and how many folks have been trained. And we look at the monies that we receive from Kellogg, which is really great. Not only did they give us money to run this program, but they provided loan dollars, so a loan pool, so that we could help people who did not have access to the resources, how they're going to start their business. And one thing about Prosperous Detroit is that it serves 5 neighborhoods: Cody Rouge, Grandmont Rosedale, Lower East Side, North End, and Southwest Detroit. And when they go through the training consists of 12 sessions, and they do that over 20 weeks. And there's 10 hours of one-on-one coaching that we bring trainers in to help train them if they don't have any experience when it comes to accounting, how to set up their books. We have people to work with them and help them set up their business. The thing about it is when they become graduates, there's a couple things that they automatically are eligible for. And one is for a loan. If we look at their business plan, because we work with them to develop their business plan, and if it's a business plan that we feel that we can support, and we feel that this is something that the community, that the market needs, then we're going to get behind them and try to help make sure that they can secure the loan. If it is first time with a business, they could get loans up to $15,000 with very, very small interest rates. to do things such as, we've helped people to, if they wanted to go into the restaurant business, it could be a hair salon. We even have some folks with IT. So it's been different things, catering business. Someone who already has a business, and maybe something is happening right now, they just need some additional resources, they could qualify for up to $25,000 in dollars to help build their business. One of the other things that's really great is the technical assistance. You don't find that a lot. And one thing that we know is we are social entrepreneurs. Unless it is something you've already been doing and you just want to grow it, if you first time, there's a lot that you got to learn to do that and to do it well. And one of them is making sure that you have access to people who can help you set up everything. That's one thing that we do with Imposters Detroit, legal assistance. You know, the HR, the accounting, the IT. So there is a platform that we can help people. But you know, one thing I just want to say is that, and so I can turn it over to Gabby and not continue going on, because when I start talking about social entrepreneur, it is so much that we can do. You know, it's individuals having that goal of this is what I want to do, I want to build my own business. And those are great, great ideas. But we got to think about a business, a corporation, and the things that they're doing, and how much more that they can do within their company that all of us can benefit from. And that's what we've done at Southwest Solutions. Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Gabriella.
All right, so that was awesome. And hopefully 36 years from now, I can be in her shoes because she does really great work. So, we're in control of this. Hi everyone, again, you can call me Gabby. It's also a lot easier to remember. As mentioned, I just graduated in May of last year, and I wanted to start my presentation off by talking a little bit about myself and why I'm here and why people see me as a social entrepreneur. So I'm a first-generation immigrant. I was born in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and he's walking towards me. Am I in trouble? Am I too short? I knew it. It's so embarrassing. No, it's okay. I'm sorry for that. So yes, I was born in Mexico. I came to the United States when I was 1 with my mom. We ended up in LA for a year, and then when I turned 2, we moved to Southwest Detroit, and I've been living there ever since. I went to schools in Detroit. I ended up going to an all-girls school in the 5th grade. Decided it did a lot better for me in my education if I just stuck with girls, no drama. Ended up going to Mercy High School in Farmington Hills, and decided that I really liked the Jesuit Catholic education, so I came to UVM. And coming to UVM was not easy. I was taking 4 to 5 classes, working 4 to 5 part-time jobs, because I could not afford to not work and go to school at the same time. So in one of those jobs that I was doing, in high school I was very social justice based and oriented, did a lot of sit-ins and walkouts and marches, and in that I documented a lot of those things. So what they were, why it mattered to me, why school was being turned down, I would document it. Why aren't immigrants being given better social services, I documented it. And then I came across a lot of great nonprofits in the city of Detroit that came to me saying, could you be a coordinator for youth programs? And I was like, of course, why not? So for the first few years, my photography was very documentary-based, very freelancey. And then a few years ago, it became my business, my side business. And I've done weddings, I traveled to Chicago, Hawaii, and I was able to document really awesome things and learn about the importance of photography and about growing a business, growing a brand, all of those things and what it can do for you. So what it did for me, it opened my doors and my opportunities to work for lots of different nonprofits. So I started to work for a nonprofit called Young Nation in Southwest Detroit, where I was teaching documentary, interviews, photo series for youth in the schools of Western International, Harms Elementary, and from then, it opened my doors to lots of different nonprofits. So I know it was Detroit SOUP was talked about. Has anybody ever heard of Detroit SOUP here? A few. Oh, that's like half. So for those of you who don't know, Detroit SOUP started about 6 years ago by now. And it's a micro-funding dinner. If you go to the door, you pay $5 at the door, it gets collected in a pot of money. At the event, you hear 4 proposals, and those 4 proposals want your votes. You get to ask them 4 questions of like, why did you get them when that was at the door? And once you hear the proposals, once you've asked your questions, you get to go to a room, you get to make a vote as to who you want to win the money. I started Livernois SOUP about 2-3 years ago. And since then, we have raised around $3,000 for the Livernois corridor community. This is one of our winners from last year. Metro Detroit Underground was a youth program. They worked with music in the community and teaching the kids how to use music. They did radio shows, interviews as well, and it was really, really cool. It's very for the people, by the people, in the community. Since then, I've helped start the Southwest SOUP, so now we have a SOUP in Southwest. We have a North End SOUP, we have a core communities, one downtown, there are lots. And this is something that I was interested in because I was really interested in giving money to the hands of the community who needed it the most, and we had the ideas to do things. So now we hear a lot about how Detroit's in the comeback and, revitalizing it. And it's really frustrating because until we put our entrepreneurship hats on and realize that we can make the money ourselves and we can do these things ourselves, it seems like Detroit couldn't really do anything for themselves. And Detroit SOUP completely switched that for me. It was like, no, we definitely can come up with these ideas. We know our own needs, but getting those funds together and working collectively as a whole. So that was really cool to work with and learn about. So I was able to do that for, I'm still doing it actually. I'm still on both boards. I'm still on both boards. Our next Livernois SOUP meeting is going to be March 31st. We just had our first Southwest SOUP meeting. We had over 100 people attend. It's really about the community. If you have the community there, if you give them the resources, they will run with it. So that's been something that's been really cool to learn about as I go through all of these different organizations and businesses that I work with. Another one that I wanted to talk about. So Lenora is awesome in her organizational experience. I have lots of nonprofits, personal endeavor experiences. But one of my latest experiences working for the Lions, as mentioned. So you're thinking, what makes the Lions and you? How does that make sense? I thought the same thing when they asked to hire me. But it's because I was working with community relations. So the Lions has a foundation that they use to fund different nonprofits. Those being Hatch Detroit, Haven, the Detroit Play Pile. And I wanted to bring this up because it shows that no matter what sector you go into, you can have a social entrepreneur or a social responsibility focus in what you do. So the Lions of the NFL football team, they still have their own community relations departments. If you go work for Ford, if you go work for Blue Cross Blue Shield, anywhere you go to, they have a social entrepreneur or a social responsibility sector. And I would really encourage you to plug in and see what it's all about. You might even want to work for them. I know that I had a lot of fun working with the Lions. Here was an event at Always Brewing at Grandma Rosedale, and we had Lomas Brown and Mont Rice literally just sit there and pour you coffee. And what they were doing was they were promoting the Hatch Detroit initiative there and the beautification program, and they were doing a landscape revitalization. So all these different entities, Hatch, Always Brewing Coffee Shop, the Detroit Lions all came together for the same mission to revitalize this neighborhood. And we did this all over Detroit. And this isn't just the Lions. This is Ford Motor Company doing the same thing, working for different nonprofits. I see them all over Southwest Detroit. This is UDM in itself is one of these entities that are going into the community and helping revitalize the city, our landscape, beautify, all of that. So there are definitely different ways for you to be an entrepreneur in a sense. Or even if you're not, how to be socially responsible for different things. So how did I get to be with the Detroit Lions? And Challenge Detroit was mentioned. So I started to work for the Detroit Lions because of Challenge Detroit, and I know that there's some students here. I would really encourage you all to apply if you're interested. It's a one-year fellowship program. Over 800 people apply and only 31 get picked, so around 30 people get picked each year. It's your job then for that full year to live, work, play, lead, and give in the city of Detroit. You are all given a $36,000 annual salary, and with that, that's your salary for the year. You all get the same. We all live in the city of Detroit. I live in Southwest. We were living all over downtown, midtown. It was a lot of fun. And the Lions was my host company. I am now working for Warren Evans in Wayne County, as mentioned, but I'll touch on that a little bit but I really wanted to focus on this picture and what Young Detroit does. So as a fellow, you work for a different nonprofit each month. Our first one was with, not a nonprofit, but with the city of Detroit. And I led in the program for the business directory. They called it Dream It, Do It Detroit. And what the fellows did was we went out to the community, we interviewed every business we possibly could. We took photos, we took their information, and we created this business directory for the city. And it's gone so well that now other cities are calling Detroit and asking how to do it. We want to do it for our city too, which is really, really cool. Because what we want is to drive the economy. We want to drive community development. And this is one way that we can do it. Other things that we focused on, we've worked with COTS, we've worked with Goodwill Industries. Right now, our latest challenge that we're focusing right now is with Downtown Detroit Partnership. And they want us to focus on how can we bring downtown to the neighborhoods, or how can we bring the neighborhoods to downtown? Because there are two different conversations happening right now where downtown Detroit is only for certain people. So maybe Quicken people, people from the suburbs. And right now we're having conversations with people from the neighborhood, and they say the same exact thing. They're saying, well, downtown is not for me. Well, DDP wants to know why not, and how can we bridge that gap? Because I think that we are all on the same page. We want this to be something that's inclusive to all. So we have to work on this. And we get to do that, which is really cool. So tonight I'm going to go to a community meeting in North End and talk to them about this. We get to interview with them. We get to really see what the needs are. And once you know those needs, and once you know of the resources that we have in our organizations, you know how to make those connections. So a connection that I want to have my Doug in here is to remind me to talk about those resources. So if you go to DetroitMI.gov, there's literally a tab that says, how do I start a business? And when you click on that tab, it sends you to the Buildings Institute, to the Biz Grid, to Motor City Match. These are all monies, technical assistance, resources for you to help you realize what your business can be and what your mission can be and how it can help. But it's a lot of fun. There's lots of things happening in Detroit right now. If you are interested in giving back and working really hard and making a difference, you can definitely do so here, and right now is the perfect time to do so. I do believe that that is all that I have. Not as much as Lenora, but hopefully one day I can say as much. But yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you, Gabby. Thank you, Lenora. Excellent perspectives, two different perspectives on social entrepreneurship as it's practiced here today now in Detroit. We have some stellar students here, members of the Student Advisory Board of the College of Business Administration. So I'm going to hand it over. They have prepared some questions for you both. So I'm going to hand it over to Colleen Correca. She starts us off with the questions.
All right, hi everybody, I'm Colleen. I'm the SAB president. It's my fourth year for UDM. And my question for both of you is, what are some of the biggest challenges faced by social entrepreneurs in your area of expertise?
Probably the biggest challenge has to do with when you have this dream and you're pursuing it, it's going to take you away from a lot of things that you're already doing in life. And a lot of the challenge would be not having the time to spend with your family. Yeah, because you're going to be so busy really trying to bring this dream to reality. There's resources. You know, do I have the money to start this business? There's going to be IT challenges. Just all kind of challenges that a lot of times interferes with it, becomes very frustrating. And you keep working at it and working at it, and eventually it will happen. But those are some of the challenges when you go down that road and say, this is what I want to do. Just be prepared to deal with those kind of things, and others as well.
So I guess she made a really good point about you having no personal life or social life. I know that was very true for me in school, and not so much. I learned how to prioritize and give myself some free time. But I think other challenges are just being scared, thinking that your idea is not good enough, thinking that there's no way it can even happen. I mean, some of the best ideas happen at like a living room with just like some of your closest friends. That's how SOUP started. It was a bunch of artists. They were all friends. They all needed money, and they said, okay, put a potluck together and let's figure this out. And that's how Detroit Soup was formed. So I think it's about really letting go of all the doubts and all your fears. I have friends right now that want to start coffee shops that have like an entrepreneur or like social entrepreneur base, and they don't know if it'll work, if it'll happen, and then we see somebody doing it. This is like, you're too slow. Like, make sure that you jump on your idea, make sure you do it. It'll evolve into what it has to be, as long as you just get started. I think is really important. It's just getting started part that's the hardest part.
Thank you. All right, my name is Caitlin Clapp, and I'm in my 4th year here as well. I'm a grad student. So my question is, if you don't pursue a career directly related to social entrepreneurship, how can you still incorporate social empowerment into your career and your life?
Yeah. So I tried to touch base on that in my presentation. Like, no matter, even if you're working for the NFL or MLB, whatever baseball is, like, wherever you go, there should be some kind of social responsibility departments or initiative, and it does not start it. There are so many surveys and research done how much better it is to actually work in a community or for a company that has that. It adds value to your work, it adds value to your company, and that's really important if you're going to be working there. So if it's not already there, I would say start it. It could be as easy as for yourself if you want to make it personal. I know when I was at Ford Field, they had lunch walks. So all the different tenants got together and walked around Ford Fields. If you do that, make it that it's healthy. You're focused on your health, and you want to go ahead and put then health initiatives. You're going to go home and eat healthier, and then eventually it spreads. I'm a very true believer in like the little drop becomes bigger and ripples across. So once you find what you're really interested in and what you think is really important, just add people to your mission.
Covers it? That's good?
Next question.
My question, I'm in my 4th year here. Is this still working? You both have spoken on doubts and challenges and stuff, and how you couldn't enjoy your personal life or enjoy sometimes your family life. How do you find reward in what you get in the community, or is there a specific story that you have that shows some reward that kind of overtakes that doubt or the challenge of not having a personal life?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. You have to go into it knowing that some of these things could happen, and how you as an individual is going to be able to cope with it. And it's not easy. It is a challenge. When you think about it, you start planning and seeing what it could look like once you really get to the end, that reward is going to be there, and it's going to be valuable for you and for your family. But being able to prepare your family, letting them know that this is the road that you're going to take, there is going to be frustrating times. It's going to be times that you want to just give up because you can't see the success, but you keep at it, but you have to really believe and know that this is something that you want. And I'm just a believer. If there's anything in life that we want to do, we can do it. It's just how we go about it. And we got to have the support system behind us. We got to get the family, first of all, behind us to support us. So that when we get to the point of, hey, it's done, I have this business, it's in place, or whatever I might be doing for the community, that reward would be there, and everybody would see it, and everybody then would be a part of it. So you just keep at it.
Yeah, I would say the same thing, and I remember when I told my mom that I wanted to completely, so my mom went to Hawaii, and I stayed in Detroit. Because I was so involved in what I was doing at UDM in the community, and she would not stay. I was 18, 19 years old. And it wasn't until I said, Mom, please, let me be like Mother Teresa and give myself to my people and help. She was like, fine. Because like, how could she say no to that? So she knew right off the bat that I really wanted to spend my whole life learning and trying to figure out how to, yes, make a living off of it, but also, giving at the same time. And to this day, I make sure that I see her at least once a week, because sometimes my week is so busy that I can't see her more than that. But it's about, I only have my mom right now in my life. Like, there's like no other, like, nothing else going on in my life. So it's like, making sure that I have that relationship with her. Good night, good morning, mom. I'll see you Sunday, I'll see you Saturday. Same with whoever else in your life. Tell them, let them know I'm busy. I will see you on this day. If you love me, you're okay with that. So, and at the end, she mentioned the rewards at the end. I invite my parents to everything that I can invite them to. It's so nice, and they got all dressed up for my challenges for reception. So they enjoy the benefit of it too.
But one thing I want to say is, when I first met Gabby, I was so impressed, and I'm sure that all of you can see it. Here is someone with such a warm spirit, knows what she wants to do, and is determined to do it. That's what it takes. It's determination. And you cannot give up. And I'm sure most of you have heard about, I cannot think of the young lady's name that started the Cooke for homeless people.
Veronica Scott.
Here's someone, when you think about it, and you're talking about the social impact part, here's someone who, first of all, cares about homeless people and wanted to do something to help them. And she didn't stop until she completed that dream. And look at where she's now being recognized by CNN as one of the heroes. Those are things that we can do. So it starts small, but it can end up really big.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know Veronica Scott, she was a student at CCS, and she was taking a social entrepreneur class where they were asking who the views are and how can we do this to help the community. And she came up with the idea of a sleeping bag turned into a jacket, and she actually won her first funding through the Tradesuit. And she's now hiring, she always hires women who are homeless. He's doing very well, and it's just a wonderful story. Just look up the Empowerment Plan. It's a really great organization.
My name is Kylie Burney, and I'm also these fellow students. I'm in my 4th year in the 5-year MBA program. This is kind of a little bit of a change of direction, but in terms of a lot of things that I've been involved in here, like Gleaners and other places like that, they're wonderful organizations, but somewhat short-term solutions. So, how, in your minds, what are like 1 or 2 long-term solutions? It could be hunger, it could be housing, or other issues as well, poverty, but what do you see as like a 1 or 2 really big things that would actually permanently fix some of these issues?
So I'm glad that you brought up Gleaners. I served on the Gleaners board probably for about 8 years. I'm very passionate about that organization because our main goal, when we think about our goal and our mission, is we want to stop hunger in southeastern Michigan. And I'm going to tell you, that's pretty big. I mean, it's only a few words. But when you think about it, how can one go about doing that? And we know it's a challenge on a daily basis. But there are some short-term fixes and there's long-term. We knew short-term, we had to reach out to the children. There are kids going to school and they have not had breakfast. We had to make sure that we could work with schools so that there's a meal for that child when that child arrived, that that child had lunch. But probably one of the things that we were the proudest of is we came up with the backpack. You think about the backpacks, you think about school supplies. But this was a backpack for a child who leaves school with food to take home. Because we knew kids was going home and they were not going to have a dinner. They were not going to have a snack that evening. So we made sure that we had these backpacks at school that when they left, they were given out to the kids that needed them. So that helped us short term, as well as short term, we try to make sure we're open. We're throughout in different counties around the city that people can come and they can just pick up food. Boxes are prepared. But when you think about long term, what has helped us is being able to have food donated from the government, to have Kroger's, Myers, and others that are donating food to Gleaners. But to get everybody where there's no hunger is completely eliminated, we know that that is going to be a long-term fix that we continue to work on. We continue to move towards being able to accomplish that goal, but we know that it won't be accomplished within the very near future, so we just keep working at it. We keep being creative. We think short term, we think long term, what we can do to make sure we have enough food available to help feed, but we don't have enough to feed every hungry person. And that's what the biggest problem is.
Yeah, and then I would also add, I understand the frustration of nonprofits doing short-term help, but I've learned to not see it that way anymore because you need that immediate help for a lot of people. And to me, long-term, it's a lot more than those organizations can't necessarily help long-term. What can help long-term, I completely believe it's education and having quality homes and having quality jobs that pay you well in order for you not to be in that position in the first place. Because I grew up in those conditions. And in order for us to no longer be there, well, we had to have a better job and we had to have better education. So when she mentioned the creativity piece, if I was working for some for-profit, and I know this is me being very idealistic and probably nobody will listen to me, but I would say, why don't we start a program for, maybe they do already, that we can have, we'll pay for 4 years of someone's education to, they probably does already. And like that would be a long-term solution, I would say. Giving someone that education, helping them pay through it, helping them get out of the poverty, because that's what we need. We need to eliminate so many people that they're in poverty. And it's not so much giving them food, it's about giving them the resources for them to sustain themselves. And a lot of that comes with education and with good quality jobs and homes for them to live a good quality of life.
Is that it? So we have about, we can have, before we hand it over to our raffles, we can entertain one question from the audience. We have a couple more minutes, if there is one. Yes.
And maybe it's for you, Phil, but a lot of what you presented was entrepreneurship. How do you differentiate between social entrepreneurship and just regular entrepreneurship?
That's a great question. Thank you, Anna. Social entrepreneurship wants to work with people who are trying to solve social problems through entrepreneurial ways. And we use entrepreneurial ways because it can become sustainable and it can continue on and not be dependent on an outside entity. So really, as we start our Center for Social Entrepreneurship in Detroit, I do want to give kudos to Detroit SOUP because one of our first participants in our first Boost workshop is Detroit SOUP. So we're thrilled to have them here because we want to see them grow. So we work for-profits, non-for-profits, hybrids, whatever your model is okay, as long as you have a social mission, and that social mission can be creating jobs, enhancing livelihoods, having a coffee shop that is trying to be more communal, and provide community for people, whatever your social mission is. So it's very fluid, and there's not one term definition, but you can't just be about profit. We want you to be about profit and to create some type of social good for the world. In the Catholic social teaching, it's atomic. So, which we don't talk much about in our political sector anymore, which is really sad.
Yeah. I would emphasize your bottom line has to include people, not just your typical making sure you get the returns and the profit bottom line. But it's also very important to have those in order to do your work. So it's important to make sure that you meet all of those things.
That's very true when you think about it, because a lot of times, and I like kind of going back to corporate structure, especially when corporate structure of a nonprofit. We know that a nonprofit, first of all, is really working to do good. And a lot of the focus may not necessarily be bottom line, but the only way that you could really look at what is going to be the greatest impact on being corporate entrepreneurs, you have to think about bottom line, but bottom line should not be the key of it. The success factor should be how many lives are we impacting and we're making a difference. And that's what we don't want to lose sight of, especially the social side. Now, we do know when you think of entrepreneurs, there are entrepreneurs that is bottom line. But we're talking about social entrepreneurship, it's a little different. But an entrepreneur that's going into business and they say, this is what I want to do and I plan to make $5 million, they got a goal. Their goal is bottom line. Social entrepreneurs, we want to look at how many lives can we impact? How much can we do in this community that's going to make it be safer? That people are going to want to come and live in this community. How many lives can we touch that now that they can attain their educational degree? So we want to see impact like that because that's how you make a real difference.
As a preacher, I say amen to that. And Gabby, thank you both for your time. Unfortunately, we have to cut it off because students need to go back to classes and things. So let's give our keynote speakers today a big round of applause. It's great to have you both here, and right now I'd like to hand it over to Christina Hawken of the Alumni Board for our raffle.
Before we jump into the raffle, I just want to take an extra minute to say thank you to both of our speakers today. We have some class here as a thank you. Really appreciate you taking time. Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay if I just read off the numbers
I
here?
got a microphone for you.
So for today's raffle, we have 4 $50 gift cards to Punch Bowl Social downtown. A lot of people said, cool, we picked a good one. Okay, so first ticket number is 242139. Okay, next ticket number 242137. Next ticket number is 242132. The last one is 242136. That's it. Thank you guys for coming. We appreciate it.
You all have a great day.